Welcome to the Domain of Anguish Speed Clear IAU guide, your ultimate guide for the I Am Unstoppable Mesmer Spiker. I will first of all talk about the IAU build and attributes, followed by a description of armor and equipment. We'll then specifically touch upon IAU special jobs involving killing 2 Smothering Tendrils in Veil and tanking Black Beast of Argh in Foundry. Finally, I will provide commentary on the recent run from a perspective of an IAU. The IAU is a key spiker in the DoASC team. In terms of build, you first of all have Argh and Echo, which is used to copy Energy Surge for spikes and Pain Inverter for killing Smothering Tendrils on 6-0 in Veil. Energy Surge is your main spike skill for spikes once the ball is ready, and you want to cast it on one of the casters due to high energy drain and correspondingly higher damage from Energy Surge to the entire ball. A natural signet costs no energy due to being a signet and should follow Energy Surge in spikes, as well as clean up on single target foes because the single target damage is higher than the area of effect damage. You Move Like a Dwarf is a single target skill which is used primarily, but not exclusively, to interrupt Beast of Argh's Touch of Argh skill and knocking down the Dream Riders in the 2nd, 3rd and 4th rooms in Foundry. Next we have Mistrust, which is another single target hex that should be casted on foes that cast offensive spells, for example Chillblains from Despair Titans and Mirror of Disenchantment from Greater Dream Riders. As mentioned above, Pain Inverter is primarily used in Veil, where you will be killing 2 Smothering Tendrils on the top left side of the 6-0. You should also use it on Jadoth and Dervish Lord, as well as any single targets on cleanup. We then have I Am Unstoppable, which gives the name to the spiker, and it is used for pulling the left side of the 6-0 in Veil to avoid cripple and knockdowns. It is also helpful for tanking Black Beast of Argh for the same reason. And finally we have Heart of Shadows, which is helpful for the 6-0 pull to avoid getting stuck, and is needed to jump on the ledges through the walls in a couple of places. Now if you pop all of your pecons, then you will be able to achieve key breakpoints in Domination Magic and Fast Casting. Your Domination Magic will jump from 16 to 20, thereby achieving a breakpoint for minus 13 energy drain from Energy Surge and overall ensuring maximum spiking capacity. Your fast casting will also jump from 15 to 19 attributes, thereby increasing your casting speed of spells and decreasing recharge time by several seconds. In terms of titles, you want to have rank 5 known to max out duration of your I Am Unstoppable, as well as maximum damage and cripple duration from Yimland on single targets. You should also have rank 5 Azuran for maximum duration and damage from Pain Inverter. And of course you should have the higher the better rank of Lightbringer title, which gives you the damage boost as well as damage reduction boost. Other than to have bombastic skins and armor, you need to ensure that they actually do the job required. First of all, you will need a Domination Magic headpiece with superior Domination Magic, which helps to achieve maximum spiking capacity. You have superior fast casting rune to speed up casting and cooldowns and help you to achieve those key breakpoints. You will also have a superior Vigor rune to increase your health. Finally, Radiant Insignias and 2 Attunement runes should be used instead of any other Insignias or runes, because it is of crucial importance to have as much energy as possible and reduce the chance of slow or fail spikes that can lead to a wipe of a team. In addition, you might want to carry a high health set with Survivor Insignias and Vitae runes, which is helpful when you need a health boost. In terms of weapons, you will need, most importantly, a 40-40 Domination Magic set for general spikes. You also need a high energy set with plus 15 energy on each of your scepter and offhand. This is needed for your energy management to ensure you can finish key spikes, for example in the city to counteract energy drain due to repressive energy that drains minus 2 energy per cast, and clean spike in Foundry's 3rd room as well as the Fury spike. In addition, you should have a shield set for the Darkness spike in Gloom, which is often called a low energy set, in order to hide your energy for the Earth spike. Finally, you should take a flat bow or long bow so you are able to pull the Dervish Lord in Veil. As regarding pecons, you must at all times pop birthday cupcakes, candy corn and candy apples, and to achieve the necessary breakpoints as discussed earlier, you should also pop golden eggs, pumpkin pie, lunas and war supplies. The cumulative effect of these pecons improves your spiking capacity by approximately 50% and should never be underestimated. You should also have at least 20 resurrection scrolls, and preferably more in case of any mesmers die and need a fast res, while the Cedar is not around to UA them. Next we have personal moral boost or death penalty removal, such as pumpkin cookies or wintergreen candies, both of which are good, but you should never use party-wide morale boost in DOA because this may mess up the team in case instant recharge of skills is needed by using a dragon seal or a power stone. For example, to counteract diversion on Mesmers during the Earth Spike, or for the Trench Tank to use it at Cave or Dervish Lord Hill. IAU must also carry Jadity or Mystical Summoning Stones, which means a Siege Turtle or Gaki, which will be used for killing your 2 Smothering Tendrils on 6-0. In addition, some throwaway stones are helpful in case you need to break aggro, but you should never pop a Summoning Stone before 6-0 to avoid summoning sickness. You should also have a few Tengu Flares and Ghastly Stones in case you need to pop them to help with the spikes. Finally, you should carry some Dragon Seals or Power Stones in case you need to get instant recharge on your skills, but make sure to communicate with your team before you pop one. Let's now touch on IAU's key job in Veil. IAU is responsible for killing 2 Smothering Tendrils on 6-0 that spawn at the top corner on the left side. It is a crucial part of the run, and it should really go smoothly in order for all groups from 6-0 to be pulled for the spike. As mentioned above, to do this you will require a Jadity or Mystical Summoning Stone, which you need to pop in the correct spot between 2 Smothering Tendrils. The correct spot is a little bush around 5 steps away from the Dreadspawn Moor, which makes it easy to get your spot correct. Emo should provide you with the life and prot bonds. Reapply your Lightbringer title as well to help with reduction of damage. Get in position on the bush and precast your Arcane Echo, and once the Smothering Tendrils spawn, you should put the Pain Inverter on one Smothering Tendril, then press tab and put Pain Inverter on the other Smothering Tendril. You should only pop your stone after the first slash hits from both tendrils to avoid any chance of a tendril targeting the Gaki Spirit or Turtle, otherwise messing up things. If you are too slow to cast Pain Inverter on both tendrils, then you might fail to kill both tendrils at the same time. Once you put PI on each tendril, you should give an energy surge to one tendril, then a natural signet to the other. After the tendrils die, cast your IAU and run towards the emo. You need to assess the spawns and communicate with the main tank to make sure you don't get shared aggro. If you do get shared, then try to run closer to the Dreadspawn Moor so that the groups do not break. Aim to use Hoss before getting stuck for a clean pull and to avoid getting interrupted by the fiends. Run through the emo and then turn around and spike the main ball. Now we talk about tanking the Beast of Argh in the final room of Foundry. You're responsible for pulling the Black Beast and the group inside the Foundry cave. To do this correctly, run along the left wall and do a little loop to block the Beast of Argh and his group on the right side of the gate. Bear in mind that the beast breaks with a speed boost, so walk backwards or sideways. You must cast Yimland on the Black Beast to interrupt his Touch of Argh special skill. If you fail to do this, then all of your attributes will be reduced to 0 and another team member might be swapped with you, thereby failing to block. Continue to block the beast group and all of the dementias that spawn after the rages are dead. Take a couple of steps back in order to avoid any dementias seeping to the team. Now let's observe a recent run that we did from perspective of an IAU. We start our recorded run in the city of Torc'qua. Prior to start of the run, please ensure that your Lightbringer title is on, because for each rank of Lightbringer you deal plus 5% more damage and have plus 1 damage reduction. Upon entry, you want to make sure that all of your pecons are popped, and please check that you equip your 40/40 domination magic set. Trench Tank will be making the first ball, so you don't want to stand too close while the tank is moving, because the mobs might break away suddenly. Run with the team until you get in a position for spiking of the first ball. Recast your Arcane Echo and spike the ball only once all mobs are settled and the ball is ready, in order to avoid scatter of the enemies. Once the ball is ready, spike with your 2 energy surges and a natural signet. You must be careful with your energy management in the city, because repressive energy costs -2 energy per each cast of a skill and hit of a weapon. After the spike, main tank will be making the big ball on the left side, and you need to work on the city wall by spiking the mangs with your energy surge and a natural signet on each mang. Please do not use your Yimlad on the mangs, because the caller will have casted DOR on them and they need to continue casting their skills to take damage from it. If you are suffering from the lack of energy, call for the emo to drop your prot bond for you to be UA'd in time to finish the city wall. After all foes on the city wall are dead, you turn around and spike the second ball once the main tank DCs into the ball and everything is settled. After the spike, run through the city gate and run with the other Mesmers to get ready for the spike of the first ball inside the city that main tank is preparing. Pay attention to your compass and avoid aggroing the patrol on the left side, which might be still too close for the spiking spot. please pre-select one of the casters, notably a Kaya, Dabi or a Su, and your first skill is Mistrust followed by Energy Surge and a Natural Signet. Once the first ball inside the city is dead, move to the second inside ball being prepared by the trench tank and precast your echo. Your first skill on this spike is E-Search, followed by a second E-Search that you copied with Arcane Echo, and then a Natural Signet. If there are any foes remaining, then help to kill them, especially by putting Mistrust on any casters, and PI on any other melee mobs. Once the second inside ball is dead, run towards the city wall and hoss off the wall from TK, who will give you a hoss target. Wait for the main tank to finish the J-Dot ball and pre-select one of the casters. Recast your Arcane Echo and spike with 2 Energy Surges, a Natural Signet and Mistrust if needed. Once the ball is dead, stack up with the team on the chest and call your Pain Inverter on J-Dot to ensure that TK and Cedar do not stack their respective Pain Inverters. City is now done, and the team has successfully annihilated the first Malgadite Blessed with the magic of Abaddon in 1 BE, again for the history buffs in our midst. Run past the Shadow Army patrol, which goes up and down the map, and you can curse them for those crappy spawns in the Fissure Woe. By that point, the MLK and Trench Tank will have finished the first wave of 360 that consists of hungers. If all goes to plan, that you want to stand in a little crevice behind the emo and precast Mistrust on one of the hungers. IAU is responsible for spiking any C-split targets on all spikes which might run through the block or run out of the ball. That is applicable to every spike. If there are no C-split targets, then you concentrate on spiking the main ball with your Energy Surge and a Natural Signet. You should copy your Energy Surge with Arcane Echo on even numbered waves, second, fourth and last, while MLK will be doing the same on first, third and final waves. Once the last wave of 360 is dead, you split to the Dervish Lord Hill on the east side with the Trench Tank and MLK. Be aware of the chain aggro. Do not aggro the Torment Claw that spawns with one of the pop-ups along the right wall until it is clear of the enemies. IAU needs to pull the Dervish Lord with his longbow or flatbow once the Lord breaks from the trench tank. If you are unable to avoid grabbing extra aggro, Yimlad the other enemies to break them. The MLK and TT can each pop a summoning stone to help with this. Do not do so yourself, because you will need to pop a stone later at 6-0. You should tank the Dervish Lord with your IAU and cast your Pain Inverter and Energy Surge, as well as a Natural Signet. Do not Yimlad the Lord, because this will prevent him triggering Pain Inverter and Backfire, as well as Empathy, that the MLK will place on him. If you still have additional aggro on you, then Yimlad them and run away to break them. Once the trench tank pulls away the mobs out of your way, hug the left wall and run down the hill and into the Clover Trench to reunite with the main team. If you are quick, then you can help with spiking the pop-ups in the Clover Trench in the usual way with Energy Surge and Natural Signet, but do not aggro while they are still being pulled. While you are finishing the straggler mobs, the main tank will have started the Clover Pool. You should cast your Arcane Echo for the spike. You should concentrate on the main ball here and spike with 2 Energy Surges and Natural Signet and Mistrust on the casters. Clean up anything left except for the hard Tormentors, and once those mobs are dead, you split with the main team to the left. Spike the patrol on the way to Elementalist Lord. After the spike is done, you run with the Caller and Cedar back to the Clover spike spot and run towards the Necro Lord. Spike this Lord with your Mistrust, Energy Surge and a Natural Signet. If needed, use Yimlad to interrupt Necro Lord's skills to avoid wiping here. Once the Necro Lord is dead, run back out from the Clover Trench and get ready for the 6-0. After you have your bonds, stand in the correct spot for the 2 top left Smothering Tendrils. Reapply your Lightbringer title after you are bonded so you take less damage. As explained at the beginning of this video, precast your Arcane Echo and cast Pain Inverter on one of the Smothering Tendrils, then tab and place Pain Inverter on the other claw. After the first slash, pop your stone and give a Natural Signet to one claw and E-Surge to the other for them to die at the same time. Pull the left side of the 6-0. If you are unlucky and get shared aggro with the MT, try to stay close to the Mo as you pull. Once the pull is done, turn around and spike the main ball with your Energy Surge and a Natural Signet, among other skills. And that's it, 6-0 is done and Dreadspawn More is no more. Pick your chest and run with the team into Gloom via the Gloom Trench. Give the main tank space to jump into the Gloom Trench patrol and spike it. Once the spike is done, one of the team members will ping hard mode for the trench tank to activate Gloomclave waves. Now we are in a foggy Ravenheart Gloom where the Order of Whispers are hopelessly failing to deal with the forces of Malix. Once you come out from the Gloom trench, hoss up to the ledge from one of the team members so the emo can catch the Earth's wave. If the main tank pings you as in his recall target, then you need to stay in his compass range to avoid messing up the glitch he does for the trench tank to DC. Stay well clear of the spawn point for 12 waves of enemies running to the cave because they can spawn in quite a wide area. While the trench tank preps the cave ball, the team runs to the corner northwest of the cave to be ready to catch waves 4 and 8. These waves consist of earths that can remove enchantments from the trench tank and fail to run if the warden dies. If you are here in time, then spike wave 4 once it spawns and settled on the emo. Once the wave 4 is dead, run with the other mesmers to the spot for spiking the cave ball and kill any wandering tormentors so the monk can safely place his EOE. After it is clear, wait for wave 8 to settle and spike it. Caller will then pop his Tengus and you should stand with him to catch waves 11 and 12. Cast your Arcane Echo and then spike with your Energy Surge followed by Mistrust, second Energy Surge and a Natural Signet. After the spike is done, turn around and get ready for the spike of the trench tank's ball on a corner in front of the EOE. Again, be careful to avoid early spike and wait for all of the enemies to be balled. Once the ball is dead, you do what is called a recall chain. You straight away run towards the entrance of the gloom. Make sure to stay in TK's compass range. If there are any straggler waters, then avoid aggro in them, but unless your health is very low, you can safely run past anything else with Yimlad and IAU to ensure getting the trench tank as far as possible. TK will put recall on you and run towards the cave for the trench tank to recall him, and then they both get pulled out with recall on top of you, thereby saving some precious seconds for the trench tank. You then run north with the TK to the Darkness's spawn point to get ready for the spike of initial group of tormentors who will inevitably kill the lowly Order of Whispers that always fail to deal with them. Pre-select the soul and wait for the MT to jump in. Your first skill here is Mistrust followed by Energy Surge and a Natural Signet. You should also be ready to Yimlad Flesh when he casts his Lion's Comfort. After this is done, Trench Tank will take the quest reward from the voice, and this will spawn the Greater Darkness, one of the 4 Lords of Anguish leading Malix's forces within Gloom, and 2 Darknesses. You should equip your low energy set for the first 2 waves of Darknesses to hide your energy, and for Darkness's Energy Surge to remove less energy from you. Important point here on the second wave is that you want to ensure that they all die at the same time. You need to tap through them and communicate with your team to make sure extra damage is dealt to the ones that aren't getting hit. Once the second wave of Darknesses die, each of them will pop 5 Earth Babies, making a total of 25, which can easily wipe the team. For this spike, if your energy didn't get drained and you killed the first 2 waves neatly, your 40-40 set will be sufficient. But if you are low on energy, then switch to your high energy set to give yourself plus 30 additional energy. You should Arcane Echo your Energy Surge while the second wave of Darkness is spawning to ensure you have 2 Energy Surges for the Earth Spike, because if you use it on the first wave, then it will not have been recharged for the Earth Spike. Make sure all of the Earths are getting hit so they die from the EOE. So this is it. Gloom is finished. We save the Order of Whispers and get a cookie. We now face the grueling run to Foundry, which is the reason Foundry starts are considered to be faster, because you save a full minute by not having to do this run. On the other hand, Foundry starts come with a massive time waste for Trench Tank and MLK running back to the city to get their chests, increasing the time taken to start another run. Finally, after a lot of huffing and puffing, we arrive at the Foundry of Failed Creations, our last area. It consists of 5 rooms, with the final room aptly called the Big Room because it is the largest, and it also contains the Fury Group. Please ensure that you take the first quest at the NPC outside of Foundry. First room is easiest. All you need to do is wait for the Marganites to spawn, and once the tank jump in, you spike it. You should pre-select a Rund and Yimlad him to avoid him running out from the ball, and spike with your Energy Surge followed by Mistrust on the NOOO. Once the Marganites are dead, there will be an additional pop of 2 Rages and 2 Despairs. Your job here is to mistrust the Despairs and spike them quickly to avoid them casting Chillblains on the team, which will remove 2 enchantments from the team. If the Rages are both outside the ball, then you have to coordinate with the seeded so you each PI 1 of the Rages. Second room will contain a group of Marganites and Terror Webs in the initial pop. Your job here is to spike the main ball with your Energy Surge and Mistrust with a Natural Signet on any targets outside the ball. If the ball is nearly dead, then you want to save your Mistrust for the Dream Riders in the next pop. Once this initial group dies, another group of 2 Dream Riders and 3 Terror Webs will spawn. You need to focus on the Dream Riders and cast Mistrust followed by Yimlad once you see the first spell being blocked. This way you will avoid the Dream Riders casting Mirror of Disenchantment on the team, which can remove the prod bond from the entire team. Third room will involve spiking 2 balls. To the left side, one of the tanks will be balling a group of 3 Terror Webs and 1 Dream Rider, while the second tank will be doing the big ball on the north side of the team. Give the tanks space and do not aggro either crew while they are being pulled, but you can Yimlad the Dream Rider when it is bowled with the Riders. IAU is responsible for killing the Dream Rider with your Mistrust and Yimlad. After the first ball is dead, turn around and spike the second ball on the other tank. This is a dangerous spike and you should always listen to your caller here and avoid spiking too early. Spike with your Energy Surge and a Natural Signet. Once the ball is dead, turn around and run into the 4th room. Use IAU if you have to run through Churning Earth to avoid being KD'd. In the 4th room, we use a tactic called a push, where the entire team runs to the further gate and spikes the first group of Terror Webs and a key while running. Ideally, the group spawns far enough to avoid aggro from the team so the tank can quickly bowl it, but if it is in aggro, then the team moves and spikes. IAU should concentrate on the Terror Webs and spike them with your Energy Surge and Natural Signet and Mistrust. After this group is dead, get all the way into the corner with the team. There will be a spawn of Dementias. Third wave will have some Despairs, and you should pre-select and ping a Despair so that other Mesmers do not select the same target. During the spike, please be aware of the corpse aggro and do not run out from the corner until the tank brings the ball to you. Your first skill on this wave is Mistrust, followed by an Energy Surge and a Natural Signet. Finally, 4th wave will have 1 Dream Rider, 1 Despair, 1 Torch Web, 1 Key and 3 Fury Titans. Tank will bowl this group and you should be aware of the corpse aggro to avoid aggroing the ball too early before the Despair starts attacking the tank to avoid Despair casting Chillblains on the team. Once the ball is ready, you are again responsible for killing Dream Rider with your Mistrust and Yimlad, as well as other skills. Clean up any big Fury Titans and after the gate opens, move into the final 5th room of the Foundry. In this room, your main job is to tank the Black Beast group as described at the beginning of this video. If all goes to plan and there is no need to break Marganites, then you can run into the Beast Cave straight away with your IAU up and keep using the host on recharge to get to the Beast quicker. Please ensure that you have a prod bond and nearly full health before you go in. Reapply your Lightbringer title after you bonded so that you take less damage. If the team has any additional aggro, break it before you go in, of course. Block the group on the right side of the cave gate and Gimla the Beast of Argh to interrupt his Touch of Argh skills, which, as described earlier, would reduce your attributes to 0 and might mess up the block. Take very small steps back on each wave of enemies to ensure the block continues to be effective throughout the spike, because the baby titans have a chance to spawn behind your initial position. Mistrust and Rages will help to kill the ball quicker, with Energy Surge and the Natural Signet finishing any remaining mob. Once the Beast of Argh group is dead, the Seeder will take the quest from the General to spawn the Fury group. For a clean Fury spike, stand in the casting range and then give 2 E-Surges, a Natural Signet and Mistrust to the ball. Important point here is that this is another dangerous spike and you must listen to your teammates and avoid standing on the other mesmers to avoid interruptions during the spike. The monk will not be there, so you must scroll instantly if someone dies. Well, that's it folks, thanks for watching and I hope this guide proves useful on your runs. All the best and always yours, Darkness Behind.